Welcome to the Compaction Laboratory. We will briefly discuss the introduction, significance, equipment list, and laboratory procedures for the compaction test. This laboratory test is performed to determine the relationship between the moisture content and the dry unit weight of a soil for a specified compactive effort. The compactive effort is the amount of mechanical energy or work that is applied to the soil mass. This laboratory will employ the impact compaction method using the type of equipment and methodology developed by R.R. Proctor in 1933. Therefore, the test is also known as the Proctor test. Two types of compaction tests are routinely performed: the standard Proctor test and the modified Proctor test. In the standard Proctor test, the soil is compacted by a 5.5 pound hammer dropped for a distance of 1 foot into soil in a mold. The mold is filled in 3 approximately equal layers of soil, and each layer is subjected to 25 drops of the hammer. The modified Proctor test is identical to the standard Proctor test, except it uses a 10-pound hammer falling a distance of 18 inches and is compacted in 5 layers. Compaction is one of the most common and cost-effective means of stabilizing soils. In general, most engineering properties improve with compaction. The optimum water content is the water content that results in the greatest dry unit weight for a specified compactive effort. Compacting at water contents higher than the optimum water content results in a relatively dispersed soil structure that is weaker, more ductile, and less pervious than soil compacted of dry optimum to the same dry unit weight. Soil compacted dry of the optimum water content typically results in a flocculated soil structure. Some equipment you will need for this test are molds, manual rammer, extruder, balance, drying oven, mixing pan or bowl, spoon, moisture cups, and straight edge. Step 1. The soil you receive has already been preconditioned to a range of water contents that will produce a good compaction curve. Be sure to keep track of the soil water contents that you have tested. Step 2. Weigh the compaction mold with the base plate on the field scales and record its weight in the space provided on the datasheet. Step 3. Prepare your mold assembly by attaching the mold to the base plate and the collar to the mold. Then place the assembly on the floor. Step 4. Add enough soil to the mold to produce a compacted thickness of about 1 inch for the modified test or 2 inches in the standard Proctor. Step 5. Holding the guide sleeve ready and vertical, compact the soil with the drop hammer, ensuring that the 25 blows are distributed evenly over the soil surface. Take care to avoid lifting the guide sleeve on the hammer upstroke. Step 6. Upon completion of compaction of the first layer, scarify the surface of the compacted layer with the scoring tool to ensure the next layer will bond to it. Step 7. Continue adding soil layers and compacting until the 5th layer for the modified or the 3rd layer for the standard Proctor is compacted. The top layer should extend up and into the collar portion of your mold by a small amount. If the last compacted layer in the mold is not above the collar joint, please see the instructor or lab technician, as you may have to re-accomplish the test. Step 8. Carefully remove the collar from the mold and level the soil to the top of the mold. Step 9. Scrape or brush away any excess soil from the mold and base plate assembly and weigh the mold with the base plate on it on the field scale and record its weight on your datasheet. Step 10. Weigh 2 empty water content containers and label them with your group number and test point number. Step 11. Take 2 moisture content samples from the middle of the compaction mold. Approximately 30 grams should be sufficient for each sample. Place each in the container and weigh the soil and container, recording the mass on your datasheet. Step 12. Place your samples in the microwave on medium for 5 minutes or until dry. Step 13. Repeat steps 3 through 12